Ascendancy Changes for Path of Exile coming up, and I thought I'd go through with them with you. I've already looked at them. I'm going to tell you that they're all considerable buffs for each class, which worries me a little bit, but it also makes me really happy because, killing stuff faster is always good. So the first one, we'll go through it, Assassin. Noxious Strikes, 40% chance to gain poison on hit, 50% to maim them, extra crit, extra duration. All this is extra damage on top of your build, whatever it is. So the faster you attack, the more poisons you're going to get, the better this is going to apply. It's going to increase the poison duration. It's going to stack. We're going to skip over the mini nodes because they really don't matter. I think they're all the same anyways. 10% chance to reduce damage over time. That one's the same. Poisons you inflict increase extra damage. 30% more, so it's a multiplier. That's really good. 20% chance to gain additional chaos against poison. Once again, just more damage. But here's a really big one. 0.5% of your maximum life per poison affecting the enemy. Now, stuff like Beanos and for example, where you can get lots of poison on lots of enemies, or just attacking extremely fast, is going to really help this survivability of this class not being so much as a class cannon. I mean, it doesn't even seem like it has a cap to it, so you could have 20 poisons on them. That seems like it's going to be really crazy. Ambush and Assassination got mixed together, so now you just get all the buffs all at once, which is fantastic for 2 points. I mean, this is crazy for 2 points. 100% more critical strike chance against everybody, basically. 40% increased damage when they're on full life, 30% when they're on low life, and you have calling strikes. So that's pretty insane for just 2 points. Opportunistic. This is a new one. 20% movement speed isn't huge because you're probably going to be whirling blade, or shield charging around anyways. Damage from your critical strikes cannot be reflected. This is big and not so big. Against some true reflect stuff, this might be super helpful, but overall, you shouldn't die to regular reflect anymore for the most part, but it does give you survivability, I suppose. 100% increased damage when there's only one enemy nearby. So for bosses, just increased damage on bosses. With the poison stacking, you already have really high damage against single target now, and then you take no critical strike damage if there's only one nearby enemy. Also, once again, more survivability. Excuse me. Unstable infusion. Now you permanently will have power charges. There's no doubt about it. As long as you can attack fast, 10% is more than enough. And this is just extra damage, extra crit, and an extra power charge. If you have like 8 power charges, it's like 64% crit multi-strike, if my math is correct there. Not only is that a big deal, but you also get 2% while you're at maximum power charges for crit, which, once again, you're going to be at max crit. If you add the crit gem into whatever you're using on top of that, it's another 2% baseline, so you're going to be at max crit if you want to be, or you can take the gem out and put it something more powerful in, like maybe more crit multiplier. Going down to the Guardian, I was actually really surprised about this one. I knew that the other class, Assassin, would probably get buffed, but I wasn't expecting Guardian to get buffed because Guardian is already extremely strong. And here it is. This is probably one of the biggest buffs for this. Before, this didn't have the 10% chance to gain Power Charge or Frenzy Charge or Endurance Charge on hit. Now, you don't know which one you'll gain, but if you attack fast enough, 10%, once again, like I said before, is more than enough. You, especially against bosses, will have all 3 up all the time. So if you're playing in a party, everybody's going to have them, which is amazing. But not only that, if you're playing as a solo character, you're going to have them all. And my low life Whispering Ice build that I was considering doing again just got even stronger because now I'm going to have Frenzy Charges and Endurance Charges on it automatically just from attacking. Let's see. This did not change at all. Radiant Faith is exactly the same as it was, and Unwavering is exactly the same as it was. Prayer of Glory is also the same as it was, and Time of Need, once again, same as it was. This got a huge buff as well. Now you can be uh, block capped very easily. So instead of it being 50% for 1 second every 5 seconds, it's 2 seconds every 5 seconds. So theoretically, that means that you'll have 50% block every 3 seconds, since it's 2 seconds into the 5 seconds. Unless that's incorrect, but I think that's how it works. You and nearby can't be stunned if you've blocked in the last 10 seconds. That's a long period of time, believe it or not. You will probably block within the 10 seconds, so you shouldn't have to worry about stun very often. Um, and then if you've attacked recently, you get 10% chance to block attacks, and if you cast a spell recently, you 10% chance to block spells. Why this is so easy or so great is shield charge counts as an attack, for example, whirling blades attack, and then if you cast any other spell at all, now you have that 10% chance to block spells. Add a roomies on top of this, add maybe just some way of getting some spell block on the tree or with one item, and you're probably going to be block capped pretty much all the time. So that's a huge buff to a class that quite frankly did not need it. And we got the Hierophant, I think, or Hierophant. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And this class probably was underplayed, but I'm not sure it necessarily needed a buff. The one skill that they did change, or the one Ascendancy node that they did change, is this one here. From it being like the various different items that you put the gem in gets a special bonus. Well, now it's just uh, gonna affect your Arcane Surge. So 25% chance to have an Arcane Surge or area effect while you have Arcane Surge, 5% increased spell leech as life when you have it up, and 40% extra damage while you have it up. So already pretty easy to keep up all the time if you know what you're doing, but here's the kicker. Gain Arcane Surge when you or your totems hit an enemy with a spell, and then you are also immune to elemental alignments when you have it up. Well, this is super easy now to keep up. Now, not only will it permanently be on, which is great because it's just more damage, but now you're immune to the effects, so your flash rolling will be so much easier now because you're just immune to everything while that's up. Huge buff, in my opinion. This is also a buff too. 25% chance to gain an endurance charge when you have a power charge. But now, every time you place a totem, you have a 50% chance to gain a power charge, and every time your totems kill an enemy, you have a 15% chance to gain a power charge. Which means, in theory, if you're just spamming your totems over and over again, you should be at full power charges and endurance charges almost all the time. Which also gives you 5% reduced damage taken and 5% penetration, which is fantastic. Who doesn't love penetration, right? Pursuit of Faith, 100% increased duration of your totems. This just means they last longer, means more damage. That's great. Can have an additional totem up, so now you get an extra totem. That's wonderful. And then some extra damage and attack speed when you have totems. So obviously totem build. Now another kicker. Okay, you get an additional totem instead of it just being two totems at this point. You got one before and one now, and there's no negative damage multiplier on here. So now your totems are just doing full damage. Plus you're going to get up to, depending on how many totems you have, extra mana and life regeneration, and the placement speed is really helpful as well. So those top two trees look great. The middle one looks great. So now there's tons of options, right? Like where would you go? And then guidance and uh, Sanctuary of Thought um, are actually the same, I believe. Let me double check on Sanctuary because I think that one actually changed. It did. Sanctuary of Thought actually got a buff. It's 10% less mana reservation. So if you take some Aurora nodes and whatnot, you could probably get quite a few Auroras on there. I don't know if it's necessary or not. I'm sure someone's going to find a great build for that. But all these points now seem extremely viable. Honestly, totems are going to be very strong with this class. And those are the three that they've shown us so far. What I'm a little worried about personally is people or sorry, the devs over buffing everything. Certain stuff still needs to be buffed quite a bit. There's certain classes out there that are really lackluster. Um, and I'm also really interested in seeing the Cyan changes because I've always liked Cyan. I'm just a little worried that they're over buffing because it's already kind of some of these classes were really strong. Like I said, Guardian was really strong, and Assassin wasn't necessarily weak. It just died really easy, and it still has that problem, but now it's even stronger. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the changes. I'm just excited to see what else is going to come out. Leave your comments and let me know what you guys are excited about, and hopefully we can get a 24-hour stream going when the league comes up. See ya.